It all started as an ordinary party at Jake's place. My friends and I had gathered at his house to kill time on that dull evening. We were just talking, listening to music, and joking around, but eventually, we got bored. Someone suggested playing poker for money. The real fun was just about to begin. Truth be told, I've never been a fan of gambling. But my friends talked me into it. The game moved fast, the stakes kept rising, and I was steadily losing money. I wasn't prepared for this. And when I ran out of chips, they suggested we play for dares. My friends were joking, of course, but they didn't seem to grasp the seriousness of it all. The winner's dare was simple: I had to spend the night in the abandoned old hospital, the one everyone considered the most haunted place in town. I was far from thrilled with the idea, but I decided to pay my debt like a man. My friends gathered around me as I got up to leave. They handed me a flashlight to see in the dark, took my phone away, to avoid the temptation of calling for help, as they put it, and escorted me to the door. At that moment, I was terrified, but I tried my best not to show my fear in front of them. I walked down the street towards the abandoned hospital, my heart pounding wildly in my chest. The night was pitch black, and the beam of the flashlight only amplified the feeling of isolation and danger. I remembered all the stories about that place, the ghosts, the eerie sounds, and felt the fear gripping me tighter and tighter. Finally, I reached the old hospital gates. They were broken and slightly ajar, as if waiting for their next visitor. I stepped through them and found myself in the hospital's inner courtyard. The grass stood tall, and the buildings loomed grim and forsaken. The windows were shattered, the walls overgrown with ivy, and the wind whispered eerie tales of this place's past. I made my way to the main entrance. The doors were open, as if someone had just walked in or out. Inside, a dead silence hung in the air, broken only by occasional strange rustles and creaks. I gripped the flashlight tighter and stepped inside, not knowing what awaited me. As I climbed the old staircase, I felt the ancient wooden steps groan and crackle under my feet, as if protesting the intrusion of a new visitor. The flashlight's beam illuminated only a narrow corridor ahead, while the darkness beyond seemed endless and impenetrable. The old hospital radiated an aura of pure dread. With every step, I felt the presence of something unseen yet undeniably real. My heart hammered so fast I could feel it echoing in my ears. After scouring every corner of the hospital, I realized that agreeing to spend the night here had been utter madness. But it was too late to turn back now. I would have to stay until morning, until my friends came back for me. I kept moving down the corridor, lighting my way with the flashlight, until I stumbled upon a room that seemed the least unfit for sleep. It was dark and cold inside, and the air smelled of mold. Yet, I had to settle here for the night, there was no other choice. As I sat down on the old bed, I felt the ancient springs sag under my weight with a sinister creak. My mind was racing with anxiety and dread, but I fought to keep myself together, to not give in to panic. Time crawled by, as if it had frozen in this terrible place. I heard noises and whispers creeping from the depths of the hospital, each sound making me flinch. As I tried to fall asleep, strange thoughts and images swirled in my head. I pictured shadows slithering along the walls and heard whispers drifting from the dark corners of the room. My imagination was playing cruel tricks on me, conjuring ghosts and horrors that made my hair stand on end in the darkness. Finally, exhaustion took over, and I began to drift off, clutching the old mattress as if seeking comfort in that dreadful place. My eyes grew heavy, and my thoughts became hazy and disjointed. I barely stifled a yawn, desperate to escape into the world of dreams and forget everything around me. Suddenly, a strange sound from somewhere far away jolted me awake. I opened my eyes slightly and looked around, but saw nothing except darkness. Where was that sound coming from? I tensed up, straining to pinpoint its source. With every second, the sound grew closer and louder, filling the room with its ominous rhythm. My heart hammered wildly in my chest, and my hands trembled with fear. I knew I had to do something, but my legs refused to move, as if glued to the floor. And then I saw it. I don't know what it was, but it was pushing through the wall opposite the bed as if the stonework were nothing but a stretched membrane. The wall warped, deformed, and stretched tight over the creature, forcing its way into the room, as if it were made not of stone, but of some hideous fabric. In sheer terror, I bolted out of the room and dashed down the corridor, stumbling and tripping over the debris littering the floor. Finally, I spilled out onto a stairwell, lost my balance, tumbled down the steps, and hit my head against the wall. For a moment, everything went black. When I came to, I struggled to my feet and began descending the stairs. Moans, whispers, and screams echoed from everywhere, every direction I strained to listen. On the third landing, I noticed a door. I cracked it open just enough to peer inside with one eye. And there, on the other side, right next to my face, was the creature's eye. In its socket gleamed two vertical yellow pupils. I jerked back just in time as the door flew open, as if kicked from the other side. For a split second, I saw the creature lunging at me. It grabbed me and dragged me toward the wall. But I never felt the impact of a solid surface. It was as if we passed straight through it, the creature still pulling me along through corridors and rooms. Then, suddenly, everything stopped, and absolute silence fell. I was lying face down on the stairs. When I scrambled up, I had no clear idea which way to run to escape this terrible hospital. I charged upward as fast as I could, remembering I'd gone down last time. I climbed until my strength gave out, until I collapsed to my knees. And only then did I look back. It was dark all around, but I could still make out the outline of the brick wall to my left, the stairs beneath my feet, and to the right. To the right was nothing but black emptiness. I had been rushing up and down hundreds of flights, yet there was no end to this staircase of brick and void. Suddenly, a horrific realization dawned on me, and at that thought, I let out a wild, desperate scream. In the morning, my friends, laughing and anticipating the jokes they'd make at my expense, headed to the hospital and found the room where I'd fallen asleep. They found my dead body, pale, with hair turned gray, and limbs twisted at unnatural angles. I knew all of it. I just knew. I wandered the staircase, then screamed, then whispered like a madman only to scream again, trapped in a vicious cycle repeating over and over. Because I understood. This would last.